Deep inside a pyramid, torchlight crawls over hieroglyphs that have survived 40 centuries. Outside, the Nile turns gold under a rising sun. For 3,000 years, Egypt mixed faith, engineering, and ambition into one relentless story. Today you'll meet their kings, wars, inventions, marriages, trade routes, and the real people who moved 6 million-ton monuments. Every summer the Nile flooded like clockwork, leaving black soil rich enough to feed millions. Surplus grain let ordinary farmers become scribes, priests, and architects. Two lands fought for that soil: Upper Egypt in the south, Lower Egypt in the north, until about 3100 BC, when a warrior king named Narmer conquered both. He wore a red and white crown and called himself Pharaoh, half man, half god. Egypt's first nation was born. Pharaohs weren't just rulers. Egyptians believed they were living gods chosen by the sun god Ra. To keep that divine blood pure, royal families often married brother to sister. The goal: protect sacred lineage, even if it meant a narrow family tree. When the pharaoh ordered taxes or war, people obeyed as if a god himself had spoken. Egyptians built pyramids for three simple reasons. A religion: they believed the king's soul blasted through hidden shafts to join the stars. A power: a 146-meter limestone mountain shouted, "Our pharaoh moves the earth itself." Economy: when floods stopped farming, pyramid projects paid workers and bound them to the state. Architect Imhotep created the first step pyramid for Djoser. A century later, Khufu demanded perfection: 2.3 million blocks, set so precisely that a sheet of paper can't fit between. Egypt's builders didn't stop at pyramids. Temples like Karnak held 134 stone columns, each taller than a giraffe. Obelisks, single blocks of granite, worked as giant sundials. Their quarries rang with copper chisels. Cedar from Lebanon came by ship for palace doors. Nubia sent gold. Punt supplied myrrh, ebony, and even live baboons. For most of Egypt's history, grain sacks were money and labor was tax. But in later dynasties, copper and silver Deben coins began to circulate with the pharaoh's name stamped on them. Hollywood says slaves built pyramids, but archaeology points to paid crews. Farmers hired during flood downtime lived in balanced diet villages near the site. Teams of 20 slid 2-ton limestone blocks on sledges over wet sand. Ramps spiraled and zigzagged to the top. With 20,000 workers, they averaged one block every 2 minutes for 25 years. When a king died, priests removed organs, dried the body in natron salt for 70 days, wrapped it in linen, and placed it inside nested coffins. Deep inside the pyramid, granite portcullis doors, each 50 tons, slid into grooves and locked. Passages were filled with rubble, and the entrance disguised. The pharaoh's body was meant to stay untouched for eternity. Breakfast, bread, beer, and onions. Children raced reed boats on village ponds and played the board game Senate. Cosmetics doubled as sunblock. Black coal protected eyes from glare. Tax collectors came twice a year. Fail to pay grain, and you could lose a hand or your land. Life was predictable, sometimes comfortable, always watched by the gods. A Hyksos invasion, 1650 BC, horse-drawn chariots seize the delta. Egypt copies the tech, forges bronze blades, and retakes its land. A battle of Megiddo, 1457 BC, King Thutmose III sneaks through a mountain pass, trapping 330 Canaanite princes, first recorded surprise attack. A battle of Kadesh, 1274 BC, Ramses II clashes with 2,500 Hittite chariots. The battle ends in the world's first written peace treaty. The Sea People's Raid, 1177 BC, mystery, pirates burn ports. Ramses III wins a Nile ambush but empties the treasury, pushing Egypt towards slow decline. Queen Hatshepsut sent ships far across the sea to a land called Punt. They returned with gold, incense, and even trees. She didn't stop at trade. She carved her temple into a mountain. It still stands today, as grand as any king's. Akhenaten shocked Egypt. He erased 2,000 gods to worship just one, the sun disk. Statues of old gods were destroyed. But his radical changes brought unrest, and after his death, Egypt returned to its traditions. Tutankhamun became king as a boy and quickly restored the old gods. But he died mysteriously at 19. His tomb, sealed and forgotten, was discovered untouched, stuffed with golden treasures that stunned the world. Ramses II ruled for over 60 years. He filled Egypt with statues of himself. At Abu Simbel, he carved 2 giant seated statues into a cliff to warn Egypt's enemies. I'm Ramses. Fear me. Cleopatra spoke 9 languages and ruled with charm and strategy. She formed alliances with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony. But when Rome conquered Egypt, Cleopatra chose to die by snakebite rather than live as Rome's prisoner. After Ramses III, Egypt faced drought, debt, and foreign armies: Assyrian, Persian, Greek, Roman. The empire faded, but its ideas did not. Papyrus became books, the 365-day calendar became global time, and Egyptian symbols inspired our alphabet. Even our medical oaths echo their ancient scrolls. Which Egyptian achievement impresses you most? Creating a 365-day calendar, mastering surgery with copper tools, or moving 70-ton stones by hand? Drop your answer below, smash like, and subscribe so history's greatest stories never vanish.